What up, gang-a-lang? Carolina Jackpot coming at you. It is Sunday morning. That means it's December 9th, 2019, and that also means today is Selection Sunday. Yeah, college football playoff. 4 teams will be announced today about noonish over on ESPN. All the regular season games are in the books except for one. All the conference championship games are in the books as well, and I think it's shaped up pretty much like everybody expected it to. Some of the games may not have gone the way that you thought they would, but there weren't a lot of surprises there. So I'm going to break down for you the 4 teams and how I think it's going to come in. This year it was so hard to figure out, like during the regular season, to put who where and how this was going to play out and what if this happened. But in the end, I mean, it all kind of worked itself out. They all kind of eliminated each other, and you're down there to a pretty clear-cut 4, in my opinion. Coming in at number 4 is a team that has not been to the college football playoff yet. This will be their first one, but the way the fan base talks, they should have participated in every single one of them. They have a rich and storied history, and this year they came back by beating up on such powerhouses as South Carolina, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about the Tennessee Volunteers. Also, gave a scare to a tourless Alabama team. Even though they lost to them by 25, they still put a scare into them. So, they'll come in at number 4 is the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm just kidding. All right, coming in at number 4 is the Oklahoma Sooners, champions of the Big 12. Won the Big 12 championship game yesterday in Arlington, Texas, by beating Baylor in overtime. They beat Baylor twice within the span of like 3 weeks, who was undefeated at the time that they beat them. Yesterday's game against Baylor, a little close. It was a little close. Baylor covered the spread, which I correctly predicted on that they would. They're a 12-1 team. They deserve to be there, and I believe the committee will put Oklahoma in at number 4. I just think their resume is stronger than some of the teams below them, and I mean, quite frankly, yes, they did lose to Kansas State, but I still think that beating a highly ranked Baylor team, 2 out of 3 weeks, they beat Texas. I mean, they beat everybody else on their schedule. Put up some pretty good offensive numbers, pretty good defensive numbers this year too. Excuse me. Actually, out of Oklahoma, their defense is an elite? No, but it is 100% improved from where they were last year and have been in years past. That's always been the knock on Oklahoma, that the offense is lights out, but the defense is a shit show. This year, the offense is lights out and the defense burst out. So we'll put Oklahoma in at number 4 in Carolina Jackpot's football playoffs. I'm sorry, I'm starting to feel sickly, so if I cough a little bit during the video, you'll have to excuse me. Please don't give me a thumbs down because of it. All right, coming in at number 3, I'm putting in the LSU Bayou Bengals. At number 3, undefeated team. Champions of the SEC, won yesterday 37-10 over the Georgia Bulldogs in the Georgia Dome in front of a throng of mostly Georgia Bulldog fans. And in fact, it was pretty much a home game for them. LSU went in, totally annihilated them. They were up 34-3 in the 4th quarter. Just nothing Georgia did seemed to work. I mean, they shut everything down. Jake Fromm looked pretty bad yesterday, actually, for the first time in what am I trying to say here? This was the worst he looked all year, in my opinion. Maybe the Gamecocks game, he looked pretty bad there too. But I mean, LSU's just a good team. I mean, they were. I had a feeling that they would work Georgia, and they did. Georgia's too one-dimensional. You had some injuries over in the receiver corps. You also had one suspended for the whole first half. I mean, would that have made a difference? No, it wouldn't have. But with the one that Lawrence Cager, who was injured, had been back, would that have made a difference? Yeah, that might have added a little bit of a different dynamic to the game. That might have been good for another 7 points, maybe 10 points. I don't know. But still, it doesn't matter. LSU comes in at number 3 in my college football poll. Like I said, undefeated. They have given up a decent amount of points to some teams this year. I mean, they have some studs over on defense. They really should not be giving up the amount of points that they have to some teams and the yardage to some teams that they've given up. I think they'll get that shored up between now and the time the college football playoff actually rolls around here in a month or so. Not quite a month. LSU, I put it number 3. I think that's number 3 best team in the country. Coming in at number 2, I'm putting the Taters. I'm putting the Taters at number 2. And you can say what you want to. Watching the game last night, I thoroughly expected Virginia to blow them out, and it was just totally the opposite. No, I'm just kidding. Seriously, on a serious note, Clemson, I mean, they dominated them in the second half. I mean, just completely just destroyed Virginia, especially the late third and the fourth quarter. I mean, it looked really bad. And, 62-17. They come out on top. How y'all like to poke Carolina fans, 63-17. Are y'all going to start doing that to the Virginia people now? 63-17. You're going to get a tape of the Virginia announcer saying, touchdown Clemson. Hey, guys, touchdown Clemson. You're going to do that like you did old Todd Ellis? But anyway, I mean, they roll. Virginia's defense, not very good, especially the back end of their defense, terrible. So like I told you, I expected Trevor Lawrence to light up a Christmas tree, and that's exactly what happened. That safety that they were putting on T. Higgins, just not a very smart game plan, and he stood no chance. I mean, there would be, I don't know, there would be as a teenager, I'll say that as a teenager because he's dead now, of knocking Andre the Giant off his feet. I mean, there's just no comparison there. I mean, T. Higgins is totally outclassed, out-athleted that guy the whole game. Their whole back end of their defense is terrible. Justin Ross also had a huge game. When Darian Stencher-Rencher is getting in there and getting carries at the running back position, Clemson's blowing somebody out, and Stencher-Rencher was getting some carries last night, and even old what's his name? Chance Malusi got a carry and scored late in the ball game. So y'all, I know what y'all say. You'll sit there and make fun of Malusi. He started South Carolina to be your number 1 running back. But anyway, they totally dominated them. I have to put them in at number 2. I'm sorry. I mean, just ever since the North Carolina game earlier in the year, like late September, what was it? I mean, it's just like a light switch has been turned on, and they've been averaging like damn near close to 50 points a game. And then their opposition has been averaging damn near 7, 8, maybe. I mean, props to Virginia for at least putting up 17 points. The defense has just been smothering. You don't have the big names on there like you did last year. But to me, they play more as a unit. I don't know. They just look better. Virginia did get a bit of a pass rush on Trevor Lawrence a little bit. And what I'm going to talk about here in a minute, also Travis Etienne running the ball. I mean, he broke some huge runs up the middle. But he also got swallowed up and knocked back for some negative yardage. So, I mean, I don't think their offensive line is that great. It's just their skill position players are so good that they mask the offensive line's weaknesses, if that makes any sense. I mean, I've seen Sunshine get sacked 4 or 5 times in a ball game like he did against Wake Forest. He got sacked. I know he got sacked at least 4 times against Wake. But, I mean, you're still dropping, 300 and something yards on them, winning with no problem. That's because, your skill position players are so good that they mask your O-line's weaknesses. Anyway, getting away from that, I put them in at number 2. I think they're better than LSU overall. I think Clemson would be able to take advantage of LSU's secondary. I think they'd be able to torch them a little bit. I think LSU put some points up on them. I think you'd have a very much back and forth ball game there. But, I still think Clemson's just a little bit better than them. And when they meet each other, which they will, because that's going to be the ones in the middle there, I expect Clemson to be favored in that game by about a touchdown. I just do. If you'll remember, a few years ago, they beat LSU in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, or was it known as the Peach Bowl then? I don't remember. They beat them in Atlanta, and after the game, Dabo said, "We beat us a national championship team here tonight." That kind of started it all. That was back in 2012. Yeah, after the 2012 season. You'd have thought they won the Super Bowl that night. Well, it's kind of ironic. If you look back at it, it kind of did, because that's where it all started, right there. Now, actually, it all started the year before that when they got their doors blown off by West Virginia, 70-33. Yeah, they lost 70-33 in a football game for those new fans around here, and went and got themselves a new defensive coordinator after that game. And then they'll tell you that's where it started at. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Clemson comes in at number 2 for me. And coming in at number 1, I got to put the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yesterday, Big 12, our Big 10 championship game, they won it 34-21 over Wisconsin. Too close for comfort, the score looks like, but Ohio State outscored them 34-7 down the stretch. Wisconsin was up 14-0. So, just total, complete domination. If you saw them there in the second half, their defense getting after it, they were just filthy. And they had that poor punter so scared, he just dropped the damn football one time. They are legit. Justin Fields is legit. The running game's legit. I can't say enough good things about them. I think they're going to come in at number 1 in the college football playoff. They've annihilated everybody this year on the schedule, except if you want to call last night's game kind of close for what it was. And then the Penn State game a few weeks ago, the final score made it look a little bit close, I guess, but there was never any doubt there either. You have to put Ohio State in at number 1. You just have to. They've been the most complete team, and they've been the most complete team the entire season. It's been from start to finish. Incredible job there if you think about it, by Ryan Day. First year head coach. Did he come in with a what do you want to call that? A cupboard stocked with talent? Yes, he did. He definitely did. But still, first year head coach, and he goes 13-0 so far. His team's ranked number 1 virtually all season long, and they've dominated everybody, and they will be ranked number 1 when the college football playoff is unveiled today in about 5 hours. So Oklahoma in there once again. Oklahoma's been in the playoff. How long has it been around now? What is this, like the 6th year? They've been in there like 4 of them, hadn't they? And seem like they're seeded number 4 every time, or number 3. They haven't made it past the first round. I believe I'm correct in saying that. Yeah, they haven't made it past the first round. They've gotten beat by Alabama, and Clemson's beaten them, and Georgia. Yeah. So Oklahoma looking to get in there and make a splash. They're going to get annihilated. Ohio State is going to be way too much for them. They're going to pummel Oklahoma a little bit, I do believe. And the 2-3 matchup, the Clemson LSU or the LSU Clemson, that one is going to be a really good game, I think. Now, when it comes out, the playoff committee comes out with it, they may put LSU at number 2 and the Taters at number 3, keep it the way it's been. And then, of course, if they do, Taters will cry SEC bias, and then I'll have to listen to him on the radio talk all damn day long about that tough schedule they play over there, that tough Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Arkansas they play them tough teams. I have to listen to those idiots all the time. I mean, well, they may put them in there. I mean, power rating wise, I mean, their schedule probably does come out just a shade ahead of yours, but it is what it is. It really doesn't matter. 2-3, 3-2. Just go out, win the ball game. If you want people to shut up, just win the game, and that's all you gotta do. It's been a great college football season for a lot of teams. A lot of teams there. Maybe I'll do a bowl pick and analysis coming up soon when those are announced, and I'll do a breakdown of teams that have. Teams that's been really disappointing and teams that really did well this year. I mean, as far as teams that really did well, I mean, I think you got to throw, your playoff teams in there, and I don't think any of those were a huge surprise. But I think you got to throw in. I think you got to throw in teams like Tennessee. I mean, I make a lot of fun of them because to be honest with you, they try to give me a hard time because I gave them a hard time. And then they try to talk about Will Muschamp too. They say, y'all need to keep Will Muschamp forever. Making these stupid comments. I'm like, he's a terrible head coach and an awful human being, and you're like 1-10 against him, but you're saying keep him forever because you beat him one time. Okay, woo-woo. All right, you got to throw them in there as a really improved team. I think Cincinnati, had a really good season. If you didn't watch the end of the Cincinnati-Memphis game yesterday, you need to go back and find that and watch it. That was a really good conference championship game. I was watching that instead of the the SEC championship game there at the end because it was no longer in doubt. Got to throw that one in there. You've got to throw in North Carolina. I think had a really good year. They finished up. They're going to go to a bowl game. Illinois is going to be in a bowl game. You got to throw Lovey in there. Louisville is going to be at a bowl game. Louisville finished up 7-5, 8. I don't remember exactly what they did. They looked kind of bad against Kentucky in their rivalry game, but you got to throw them in there. You got to throw Kentucky in there. Kentucky had a really, really solid second half of the season when they had to put Lynn Bowden in at quarterback because of the fact that, they really had anybody else to play the position, and he really played it well. And they had some decent wins down the stretch. You got to throw them in there. And there's many more out there. Just kind of touching ones that are kind of a little bit closer. Teams that were abject failures. South Carolina Gamecocks, terrible. 4-8. Say what you want to. Well, the schedule was rough. Well, y'all shouldn't have expected to do any better than that. You're South Carolina. Yeah, we should have. Team should have went at least 7-5 with the talent they had. I'm sorry, Will Muschamp runs it into the ground. They basically fire Brian McClendon, get rid of him as a scapegoat. Was he a great offensive coordinator? No. But get rid of the strength and conditioning coach. Wow, golf clap. Should have done that 3 years ago. Or should have never brought him around in the first place. The guy has a bunch of injured players wherever he's at. You get rid of the quarterback coach. The problem lies with the head coach. They just refuse to do anything about that. They're just going to waste money. They're wasting money, in my opinion. You're wasting money because you are not going to have fans turn out at the games next year. That's where you're wasting money. You're wasting money by bringing in Mike Bobo as an offensive coordinator for 1 year to end up getting fired with Will Muschamp next year, either during the season or after the season's over with. After the season's over with next year, the whole staff will be gone. They'll all be gone. And they're just delaying the inevitable. Is Mike Bobo a splash hire? Is Mike Bobo going to put butts in the seats? You're going to have 82,000 fans in Williams-Brice Stadium because we hired Mike Bobo as the offensive coordinator, or are going to. No, you're not. So it is what it is. I hope Georgia fires. I hope they fire their offensive coordinator, James Coley, today. I mean, they seem to be very upset with him. Fire him, and you guys can have this Bobo guy. Because I mean, he needs to be somewhere he can at least have a stable. You know, he just got fired from his last job. He needs to be somewhere where he can be stable for a while, right? Because he ain't gonna be stable at South Carolina. At least you know Kirby Smart will be in Athens for a while. So there's that. I just had to ramble on about the Gamecocks there, but there have been some other failures this year. Maryland was a team that I thought would perform well this year under their new coach, Mike Locksley, and they did for 2 games, and then it all kind of fell apart. So, you know, I'm trying to think of some more failures. I'm sure there are some out there. I'm just not registering with me right now, and the video is getting a little bit long. Sorry, I keep rambling, but anyway, those are my final 4 teams for the college football playoff: Oklahoma, LSU, Clemson, and Ohio State. I think you'll see it shake out that way today. There's really not a lot of question. You know, it really didn't have to, I didn't have to put a lot of thought into that one. That's those are pretty much givens. But you know, who knows? There have been surprises in the past, so you know, we may see a surprise somewhere. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate it. Peace, and I'm out. Oh, by the way, we throw this out real quick. I have Clemson fans on here sometimes tell me, just come on over to the orange side, Carolina Jackpot. You'll like it over here. Be one of us. No. Let me just tell you, no. There's a better chance of, let's see, Roseanne Barr landing her own network series again. Snow becoming a daily occurrence in Cuba. The moon crashing into the earth. Babe Ruth coming back and becoming a starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. Those are things that are more likely to happen than me becoming a Clemson fan. Just so you know. Just so you know. It's not going to happen. Don't even waste your time with the type. Just type something else. Because that ain't happening. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out. Spurs up to my toes up, baby. Woo!